What's up, guys, and welcome back to another Revit Tools video. In this Revit Tools video, we'll be covering the delete tool. Seems pretty simple. I think you all know how to delete something in Revit, but there actually is a tool. For the longest time, I just didn't realize that there was a delete tool in Revit, but in fact there is. It's that red X. I don't know about you, but I generally don't use it, and it's something that it doesn't really cross my mind as something that I would even need, because typically what I would do is highlight and press the delete button to delete whatever it is I've highlighted. That just makes sense. I'm not going to go and bother using a tool. But the delete tool itself does something kind of specific. And I'll press the delete tool, and we can see up here there's an option that is not turned on by default, but there's an option to check editable only. Whether it's, and this has to do with deleting, of course. So for the purposes of this video, I have made two different options of floor plans. There's nothing to do with them because all we're going to do is delete them. But when it comes to editable, there's such thing as editable and non-editable, and this applies to work sets. So I'm going to go to Modify, Collaborate, and this becomes a factor when you're working in a collaborative or central model. So I'll click on work sets, and again, for the purposes of this video, I have option 1 and option 2 as different work sets. I would not typically do that, because if I truly had a different option, like multiple options of a floor plan or a room or whatever it might be, I'm going to make a design option. Now, I will save design options for probably their own multiple set of videos, because they can be quite complicated. But again, don't get hung up on the names or anything. Just remember that these are work sets, and I'll explain how all of this ties into work sets in just a second. But because work sets exist and the way they work has to do with editable and non-editable. So getting back to the delete tool, finally, the delete tool applies editable versus non-editable, unlike the delete button. So editable in this case of the delete tool, or Revit work sets in general, is that you have possession and that no one else can edit them. So that's if something is editable. Non-editable applies when no one has ownership of an item and anyone can edit them. It seems kind of backwards and weird, but if you just remember that editable means it's owned, you're probably in good shape. So right now I have option 1 and 2. They're both not editable, and there are both no owners and borrowers. So that's good to know. So that's fine. We'll hit OK. And I will just, at this point, I'll just select random elements, and we can see that all of this floor plan is associated with work set 1, and I've got this work plan, which is associated with option 2. Now, if I select random elements in either of them and I press the delete button, not using the delete tool or anything like that, I get random elements that are gone. I will hit undo, but now once you do that, you can see I'm going to go back to the work sets, and that I am the borrower of both option 1 and 2, which means now they're technically, they've been touched, they've been edited, they've been borrowed. But still, the whole work set itself is not set to editable. I'll hit OK, and if you want to clear those values, and for the sake of this video, I will clear those values, the values of borrowed versus owned, whether you have something or not, you can hit relinquish all mine, which is relinquishing or removing ownership from elements that you have in the model. So I'll hit relinquish all mine. There's nothing to do. It's not going to tell you that anything has been done, but a way you can tell that that's been successful is you can go to work set and see I am no longer the owner or borrower either of these work sets. So that's great. So what I'm going to do at this point, and I haven't even used the delete tool yet, but I will right now, and moving forward, I will. So where the delete tool comes in is if I were to take complete ownership of this option, which is basically saying, I'm going to change this to editable. And at this point, I'm the only one who can work on anything associated or in that work set. I will be the owner. From there, anyone who wants to access an element, edit, or do anything to any element in that work set, because I'm the owner, I'm going to receive an editing request. Again, I'll have another video for collaboration in general, but if I were truly an owner, no one else would have the ability to edit or do anything to any object. So I'm going to change option 1 to editable. And you can see, as soon as I do that, I am the owner of that complete work set. And that's great. And that's great in particular because when we go to the delete tool, if I do choose editable only, now it's going to tell me, hey, swipe and select different elements that you want to delete. And so if I come over here to option 2, because none of option 2 is editable, I don't have the option to select or delete anything. So that's a good way of controlling specific elements. So it's good to know that by default, if I go back again one more time to the work sets, option 1 is editable. Option 2, because it is set to not editable in the work sets, you have to have ownership to be able to delete it if you're using the delete tool with editable only checked. So right now, because option 2 is non-editable and I have the editable only checked when it comes to delete, I cannot select or delete any element in this entire work set. Now, if I come over here to the next option, option 1, which I have sole ownership of and is editable, I can, again, just like before, using the regular delete options, select this, and then now pressing enter, I will delete. If I hit undo to get those back, I'm going to go back to the work sets. Again, to rehash this one more time, option 1 is editable, option 2 is not. And if I go to the delete tool, if I don't check editable only, I can select anything and it doesn't matter. But this is a good way to check if an object is editable. I can simply select that and it's not editable over here. I can't delete it, I can't do anything. I can when it comes to option 1, work set 1 in this case, because it is editable. Now, I will say that is the delete tool. There's nothing else to it. It does delete. It does the same as the delete button, but you actually do have the choice of choosing an editable only element, which means it's something you have affected. That is the delete tool. Being honest with you, I have never really used the editable only option because I will simply go to the collaborate tab, go to work sets, and see what is editable. So that'll tell me what I can delete. But even that to say, I don't really bother using the delete tool itself. Like I said in the beginning of the video, I didn't know why it was there. I didn't think it needed to be a tool or anything like that, because it is simply the delete button on your keyboard and it works the same. So I'm not saying to not use the delete tool itself, but it does have a unique quality when it comes to the editable only option. So keeping that in mind, I sure hope you learned something. If you did, if you would, leave this video a like. It helps me a lot. Also subscribe. I've got lots of videos coming in the future, more Revit tools videos, more different things about Revit. I sure hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.